This week in the latest episode of My Hero Academia, the Gentle Criminal arc is finally over, the school performance is finally on with the Jiro backstory. Eri finally smiles in one of the best slice of life episodes we have seen so far in My Hero Academia. Let's talk about this. What is going on, guys? My name is DJ Miles and I'm here to review another episode of My Hero Academia. This is season 4, episode 86, titled Let It Flow School Festival. And before we begin with this episode, if you can go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel for more anime content down the road. We are living through some crazy times right now, and this episode could not have shown up at a more opportunistic moment because it's just a real good example of a slice of life episode. It's just fun. It's very pure in what they want to show us. Listen, I'm gonna be real. There was moments where I thought a school festival episode is gonna be just downright boring and I'm just gonna gloss over it. And the fact that you see Eri smile, the thing that Muriel and Deku wanted from the beginning of season 4, now finally comes full circle. And when you see a little girl smile like that, you can't help but tear up, because I got really emotional and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't think I was gonna get that coming from this episode. And let's actually talk about Eri, because there's a lot of a mental, psychological strain that Overhaul has put on this poor little girl that we have seen throughout season 4. And I think really the only criticism I have to say with this episode is how they just simply glossed over that. Like, you notice when she broke out and she was smiling during the school performance, you see this casted shadow on her for just 2 seconds. But in the manga, sorry to be one of those manga people again, they actually really showed that strain that Overhaul held on her, or held onto her, and she immediately like blew it away. With this, they glossed it over for 2 seconds and be like, over who? Yeah, I guess he's not that important, right? Like, hello, he put so much psychological strain on her. It would have been nice if they made that scene right there be a little bit more important, because I feel like the manga did it, again, much better. But in any case, I also like how this episode showed the audience, for people who were bitching about why did Deku run out and get school supplies when UA Academy obviously should have a single rope for this school performance. Nope, we find out at the end of this episode, why did he run out and get lots of supplies? Because he wanted to have ingredients to make this candy apple for Eri, because he was surprised that the school festival wouldn't have candy apples. And that was, again, another thing he promised to Eri. So seeing her really smile and just really put a beam of light into me, and it made me super jovial, and I was just really excited to see her smile. In other news, let's go ahead and talk about Gentle Criminal. We see how much Gentle Criminal parallels much of Deku's life, and I also like how this episode also explained, oh, you know why Gentle Criminal is my toughest opponent? Because my life frighteningly parallels so much of his, and if it wasn't for the one bad day and I had one good day, I could have turned out to be just like that. So I'm glad that Deku acknowledged this in this episode, because that was my biggest complaint going into last week's episode, because they didn't give the clarification. So I'm glad we got the clarification on why Deku's toughest opponent was Gentle Criminal. For those of you who just needed to know that answer, which I felt was so obvious, but anyway, the rest of the episode plays out as a slice of life, as I was mentioning previously, right? So we see Class 1A give their performance, and another really sweet and tender moment where we see Jiro's backstory. We're happy that you love music, but if you also love becoming a hero, you know, there's lots of similarities between being a hero and being a musician. As long as you admire to it, and as long as you pour your passion into it, we are going to support you no matter what, baby girl. And look at that, loving parents. We don't get a lot of screen time with a lot of these Class A students, because let's be real, a lot of the main three that we like to really show more screen time on is Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki. Of course, we got the B-ranked students, and then we have the non-existent ones. And I felt like Jiro was in those non-existent class 1A students we just never get much time to talk about or just look over. So I'm glad this arc, if anything, even if it is a short and slice of life arc, now that we got some more screen time with some of our class 1A students. So I really like that. And I also forgot to mention with the Gentle Criminal stuff, they gave us more screen time with Gentle Criminal and La Brava at the last 2 to 3 minutes of the episode. Of course, this guy interrogating Gentle Criminal knows that, dude, you are not brainwashing this girl. Listen, I know you've done lots of petty stuff, and a lot of these petty stuff accumulated to, well, things that we just obviously cannot look over. But La Brava has some amazing hacking skills. And although La Brava is outright refuses to help out the police force in any ways with her abilities, it looks like what they're going to foreshadow here is, okay, Gentle Criminal, you've done a lot of petty stuff. Normally we would put you in jail. However, La Brava really cares about you, and because she actually has some amazing abilities that we can use, we'll cut you a deal. La Brava, you start working for us, you'll get Gentle. We'll just wipe all this stuff under the table, and you know what? You guys will have a clean slate. And I think, to me, that's what we're gonna get. And I don't know about you, I think after this whole battle that Gentle Criminal had with Deku, I totally see a redemption arc coming for Gentle Criminal, and I think we're gonna get more of La Brava and him later on down the road. But let me know what you guys think about that. Not only that, it's a little odd seeing Mario in school clothes and just being so happy hanging out around Erie, because he was such a forefront and one of the main leads into the overhaul arc. It's sad to see him quirkless and powerless right now. But again, I think we're also going to get much more of Lemillion, because when we see a lot of screen time with Erie and how much Erie means to Lemillion and vice versa and Deku, oh, you better believe we're going to get more of Lemillion down the road. So look forward to that as well. Of course, if you guys hung around for the end credits, you know that the penultimate episode, if this wasn't the penultimate episode, we are going to get the rankings, or the new rankings of the pro heroes. And of course, they had to highlight Hawk and how he's going to play a major role into the upcoming season of My Hero Academia. But if you saw the My Hero Academia movie, then you know who Hawk is exactly, and a little backstory onto what he's bringing to this plate. Quickly, I want to mention with Class 1B, I just had to mention it because I had it in my nose. I just love how they just ripped off and used a lot of source material from Lord of the Rings, from Romeo and Juliet, and when they are about to reveal the huge Gandalf stuff from Lord of the Rings, he says, "I am your father," and there's a lightsaber, which was one of the stupidest things I've seen, but you know what? I just had to mention it because that made me laugh. So guys, let me know what you thought about this episode. I feel like there's going to be a lot of mixed reactions, but if you ask me, I felt like it came at the most opportunistic time, knowing what is going on with the world. But here we are with episode 86. We only got 2 episodes left. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel for more anime content. My name is DJ Miles, and as I always say, to be continued, take care.